Yep, it is stream time. So it's been a while. It's been a while. Yeah, so I'll be working on some Magiform covers right now. I went through a lot of equipment upgrades, so this should go a bit faster than the last few times I did this. Just gonna crop this. I'm gonna do formatting before coloring them. Okay, working on the size. Yeah, Magiform stream. Let's go. Oh, I can't believe those are gonna be the last covers. At first, it was gonna last 8 to 9 chapters, but I decided to condense the last chapter in the past couple months. So yeah, chapter 7 is gonna be the last one. Let me just open Twitch on my phone so I can follow the chat. I can't have it on my screen. It's gonna be distracting. Okay. So all these pages were scanned in ink traditionally, and I just put them in the computer. That's what I do for every other page in Magiform. And now I'm gonna just use the threshold tool to clean up the line art, and after we're done that, I'm gonna color it. I want things to go past the page. In the printing world, we call that bleeding. Little morbid fact for you. You might also notice that since then I have learned about keyboard shortcuts. You know that those are things that a smart person would have looked at earlier. But they're working fine now that I'm using them. How's it going? I'm doing well. Again, it's a weird emotional place to be working on the last couple things in the comic, but I do have a lot of other projects in the works, so it's not like it's my last comic ever. Magiform was made to be something done relatively quickly in the first place because I wanted a long form webcomic, but I didn't want to be spending forever on it, so I picked like the simplest story for me to make. So all the characters are super low detail. They don't have a lot of colors on them. A lot of them are redesigns or straight up like the same design that I drew a lot in high school in Enno's case, so I already knew how to make him super expressive. Yeah, sometime in early 2018, I just decided to redesign the Magiform gang, and I guess we're here now. So that's fun. I wanted to mention the butterfly effect, and for some reason, I was going to say the pachinko effect, and I don't know why. Well, thanks. I I'm really I'm really surprised by the support it's gotten early. Like during the character poll, there's a lot of comments that have been saying like, "Oh my god, are you gonna print the book? Are you gonna make merch?" And I'm like, "Slow down, what?" Still went longer than expected. Well, yeah, it's almost been 3 years. uh, yeah, webcomics take a long time because you're the one doing everything, and most of the time you're not getting a lot of money, if any at all. So you have to do a bunch of other things to support yourself at the same time. For well, before the quarantine, I worked about 30 hours a week at a day job that closed down because of the lockdown, and it took a while for it to reopen again. But yeah, I used to work a lot, and I had to do pages in my free time. Now I've been lucky enough that it's making a little money, and I've gotten other gigs that are art related. I actually did a storyboard gig last year. I can't really say what for yet, but I'm excited about it. Magiform's the best. Oh, thank you. I actually went to a convention in Vancouver earlier this month, and like I was really surprised. Some people recognize Magiform off my business cards. Like what? How dare you perceive me? Is there going to be a new edition compiling fan arts? Well, it's I want to. Thing is, I don't have enough fan art. That's the problem. So, hint, hint, wink, wink. If you have any that you want to share, now's the time to send it at the email. Okay, there we go. Gonna do this. Art rule number one. Objectively, your art is better if you make little whooshy sounds when you draw on it. That's the one rule that's universal. I do have some plans in the works for merch because people were mentioning it. So I think I might put up some shirt designs sometime. Uh, if I do, I'll probably announce it at the end of an episode or something. And I do want to make a Kickstarter for the full edition once all the pages are ready. Uh, it'll be like at least 300 pages, so I'd rather print it with the chapter 7 done than just 1 through 6, because that's already 250 pages on its own, and I not over that. I like working hard. I like doing a lot. Early quarantine, I got really into flowers, and I did like 90 designs of little flower people. I can get carried away, but still, sometimes you look back and you're like, huh, art block. I don't know her. Hi, thanks for joining. Yeah, no, not only should this art stream be a little bit more efficient than the last few times, but I'm gonna be taking bio breaks because I need to be better about that. We're almost at the bottom. There we go. So yeah, if you guys have any questions about like the process with their story or something, as long as it's not like spoiler heavy, I'd be happy to answer them. I need something to talk about. Okay, we got the line art. We got the line art done. There he is. There's my boy. Terrible son. I'm gonna put this on multiply so I can color under it. I don't know if you can hear it, but my laptop is trying to take off right now. Okay, so first we're gonna do the background. This is Endo. He tends to have like a reddish color scheme, so I'm gonna cater to that by making it like a warmer space sky behind him. Not super a fan of that. Maybe add a little bit of black. How did I come up with what the cats would transform into? Okay, so as I've said before, the cats are redesigns of characters that I had in high school. And the thing is, they basically have the same powers, but the designs were not based off animals. So what I ended up doing was just assigning them animals that the designs already kind of lean towards. Like Pumpkin was gonna be a fish. Vanilla was gonna have snakes because I didn't know how else to explain those like tentacle things. Um, Missy had a fire power, so instantly I went salamander. And that's basically how it went for all of them. Thing is, though, when I was doing the redesigns, like the power came before the personality, because that's what I tend to do. I like to draw. I make little characters, and the personality kind of just happens while I'm drawing them. Usually, it's not the other way around for me. Okay, so now I'm gonna do a little trick that I learned how to do since that is going to save my wrist when I'm drawing stars. So I'm gonna fill this whole layer with never mind, I filled it with foreground layer, foreground color. Okay, now it's all black, and I'm gonna fill that with some noise. Okay, let's blur it. Want this to be a lot of like bigger stars since this is a bigger background and it's a close-up. So now I'm gonna play with the levels a little bit. I'm gonna take away everything that's like not super bright. I don't get why it came out pink. Whatever, nothing, nothing a couple filters can't fix. Ah, okay, no. Right, there we go, easy peasy. There's a bunch of stars here, like a lot. Luckily, the ones under Endo are going to be under the character layer. Okay, so I don't know why it turned out pink, but with this color scheme that I'm trying to go for, it works, so I'm gonna leave it. Now, what I am gonna do is copy this layer and paste it. And now what I can do is blur that layer, so that's how I make the stars kind of glow. You're probably gonna reread the series? Thank you! Thank you, there's a couple clues in there that people have missed. And now I'm gonna do the same thing to the original layer, so that way the stars aren't just like pixelated. But I'm gonna do a bit less because I still want them to have a little definition. And there you go, bunch of stars, and they're a little bit too bright for me, so I'm gonna lower the opacity a little bit. One thing I also like to do afterwards is still add a couple dots here and there. You know, vary it up a little. I forgot to name my layers. Oh. Okay, I think that's the dot one. Right. What settings did I have this on? What's the inspiration for Magiform? That's a good question. I don't know. Honestly, I mean, of course everyone gets inspired and learns from media that they enjoy, but usually when I work on something, it's not super explicit what exactly it was inspired by. I can see some Mystery Dungeon roots. A bunch of my art style comes from Geronimo Stilton, from reading a bunch of those when I was a kid. I don't know, the inspiration for making this comic, this specific incarnation of this story was I need to have something out and it needs to be the simplest thing I can do. So it's not as if I cut corners on everything, but it's like, yeah, this is the comic that I'm using to learn how to make a webcomic. Let's go. Okay, yeah, I'm gonna duplicate this layer too, and also blur it to add a little shine. And I'm gonna do this here too. I might pull back those stars a little bit more. This is all art is. You add stuff and then you erase it. Or no, you pull it back. You find the balance. Yeah, especially since I'm going to put a bunch of those streamer things in this. Alright, now time to color Endo. Gonna make it a pretty neutral gray this time around. And if I need to change it with a filter or something, I can just do that. Now I think of it, I think a lot of inspiration for Magiform kind of came from Madoka Magica, funnily enough. I don't know, I got really into that show in college. There actually is a little bit of a reference to that in the concept art episode, because I wanted there to be a time loop element somewhere, and that story did not go anywhere. It's not happening anymore. Sometimes what you learn when exploring story ideas is that it won't work. That's what art is. That's what art is. You do everything, you try everything, and sometimes the lesson you learn is that you don't want to do that, but at least you know now. Okay. Oh. Okay, I need to deselect the background color because it's messing me up. Okay. Here he is, my son. Trash child. Part of why I like working on this story so much is that high school me would be over the moon that people like Endo. Like, man, this is the guy who dominated my imaginary AMVs in my head. Him and like some other characters, I guess, but like he was a big deal. Like, as I've mentioned before, he came from another story um, called Paltico Island, and when he made it into Magiform, that's pretty much when I knew that that story was never going to happen because he was such a big part of it. So now it's kind of become this this dumping ground, this graveyard that I dig into to forage for ideas. And so far, it's worked well. I've got several stories that are like kind of reusing those characters, so it feels nice to be reworking them. Do I ever hate the limits my art style places on you? Okay, well, see, I don't super believe in art style. Like, okay, as a concept, I kind of get it. Like, I understand what it is. It's just to me, it's never really held me back. When I see someone with like really cool and sharp line art, I'm like, oh, okay, I might want to try that. And if I like it, I keep it. And sometimes I go through different phases of trying different things or making super angular art. Like at one point, I read a bunch of Bridgman's Complete Guide to Drawing from Life, and his figures are like super not boxy, but like they're drawn in a very specific way. So for a while, all my people kind of just looked like that. But yeah, I understand that I kind of do have an art style, but to me, I don't see it. I've been trying to analyze it a little bit, but also if I want to draw a certain way, I'll just do that. You know, it's not the limits that art style places on me, it would be the limits that I place on myself. And I don't do that. I do this challenge where I draw at least one new character design a day, and I've been doing that since December 3rd, 2015. So I just got past day 2300 a couple days ago, and you know that has both helped me develop artistically and also try a lot of different things. Because sometimes I don't want to draw a Pikachu adjacent little alien monster. I'll be like, hey, I'm gonna draw a zombie, and then I can do that because I wanna. Oh my god, this is so slow. What is happening? Yeah, new computer, new software. Still getting used to it in some occasions. Has any other artist inspired you in your art or in the way you write history? I write history, so I won't repeat it. I'm kidding. Well, the stories, again, I think it's not any specific story. There's definitely traces of stuff if like I were to look into it, but honestly, storytelling as a medium, you want to incorporate anything you can. You want to did I not deselect? Okay, hold on. There we go. He needs his little white poof. Um, what was I saying? Yeah. So, you know, whenever I'm watching something, I kind of have to subconsciously take note of what they're doing to make the story tick. The other day, I was a couple months ago. I was talking with my mom, and we were talking about story stuff. And I think it was because we were about to watch a show, and I was talking about something that either bothered me with the themes or something like that. And she was like, you know, some people watch stuff to turn their brain off. And I'm like, yeah, I know. I watch a lot of stupid stuff, but like, I also like thinking about it. Like, what's the point of watching it if you can't think about it? I don't know. It's weird how different people interpret art. I always see it as you learn to draw certain things that influence your art in a certain way. Yeah, that's fair. Um, One quote that I've heard is I can't remember where it comes from, but your art style is just all the errors you make in trying to replicate reality, and I think that's a fair assessment because you know it's hard to be completely realistic, and everyone makes mistakes in a different direction, but like good mistakes. It's fun. I really like Mike Mignola's style. Hellboy. It's a lot of black spotting and like really identifiable shapes. Those are really nice. My friend got me into Lupin the Third last year, and I will never forgive him for it. And thing is, with Lupin the Third, there's a ton of media related to it. Um, but a lot of it, like, it's the characters are super expressive. They're always doing something with their hands because there's a lot of like sword fights and gun shooting in that show. So like everyone is always doing something, and it's really fun to watch. One really good show for composition and stuff like that that I saw in the last couple of years. Kipo is great. And also the soundtrack. Like the soundtrack makes half the show, honestly, because it's got such a good sense of atmosphere. When you're watching Kipo, you know you're watching Kipo. I always like to drive your art away from reality. Yeah, yeah, that's a mood. I'll look at characters and go, "Hey, you get my problems that I had in high school," and they'll go, "No, I want to be happy," and I was like, "Yes, yeah, maybe you deserve that." Um, do I listen to music while I draw? Any recommendations? Okay, well, the thing is, when I draw, usually I'll listen to music or put some like video essays or TV shows in the background. Since I got a new laptop, I can draw without a tablet and I can draw on the couch. So that has been so good for motivation because now I can watch TV while I'm drawing. And yeah, so there's that. Usually I'll either be like browsing Netflix or watching some stuff on YouTube. But for music, uh, I've got a couple playlists, but a lot of it is I really like musicals, and I think that stems from the fact that if you put on just an album of a musical while you're working, it's a little story in your head. So that way it feels like it's kind of moving forward. I really like the Prince of Egypt musical that came out in April or May 2020, I believe. That is really good. If you've seen the movie, it's pretty much that, but there's more songs. It made a couple weird choices with the story, but I hear a good ensemble choir and I melt, so I'm very biased. So yeah, I like Prince of Egypt. Just different musicals usually. I have one song from the SpongeBob musical on my phone because I haven't listened to the rest of it, but No Control slaps. I also have a playlist where it's just a bunch of songs for characters that I have. Not necessarily characters that are in Magiform or anything, just different stuff. So when I'm writing, I can be in the headspace for that. Like when I'm doing thumbnails for Magiform, I'm not usually putting anything that's just talking in the background uh, because I need to be focusing on the story. So sometimes I'll put on some music, even music with words. But if it's like within the mood, oh man, I've been in RGB this entire time. Oh god. Oh no. Okay, let's try to salvage this. Don't merge. Thank you. Uh, okay, maybe that's why the stars were going haywire. Okay, why did I? I'm used to clicking certain buttons in Clip Studio Paint, and Magiform is exclusively worked on in Photoshop. This needs to be darker. Okay, let's see here. Okay, well luckily there's not a lot of like overlap or anything. Favorite game? See, I like playing games, but I'm pretty casual about it. I mostly play Pokemon and stuff like that. Uh, I really like the Mystery Dungeon games. Gates to Infinity is my favorite one. Don't at me. It's the best one. um, Yeah, I shouldn't have to change the white because that's pretty much the same thing in RGB and CMYK. And now I can do the eyes. I like Endo's color scheme because it's easy to remember exactly what you're supposed to do with it. I did really enjoy Undertale when it came out, and I've played the first chapter of Deltarune. I still have yet to play the second one. That same friend who got me into Lupin the Third has been hounding me about playing it, and I've been real lazy about it because I've been doing a lot of other stuff. Okay, now I want to fix what's been going on with the background then. Yeah, that's too dark. Let's make this lighter then. There we go. I think that works. Hold on, I wanna put an emoji in the chat because I like putting emotes. There we go. He screams. The child screams. Alright, so now that I've got my colors done, I can do a little shading. I like to do the little streamer things in the background after I'm done everything, because that way it doesn't really mess with anything compositionally. Hi, gente bonita. Hola. Hola, personas que miran. I don't know. I know a little bit of Spanish. Oh, I also got this. Little symbol thing. Okay, usually I go with like a deep blue or something, especially since everything else is gonna be kind of warm color wise, so I'm gonna lean more cool for this one. My sister hates it when I talk about warms and cools like that. Just bleh. Bunch of blue. Look at him. He's blue dabba dee dabba da. You know, sometimes I think I'm cringe, but like, you don't kill the part of you that's cringe, you kill the part of you that cringes. Set that to multiply. And usually for these, I go a little bit deeper. I'll do several layers. So I'm gonna try to keep it consistent with the other ones. In about 15 minutes, I'm gonna take a bio break. but hopefully I'll be done by then. Just for this one. Yeah, I know a little bit of Spanish. I'm aiming to be trilingual. I do have a friend who speaks Spanish, and he wants to learn French. So one thing we'll do is we will walk to the coffee shop and speak one of those languages, and then we will walk back and speak the other one because my first language is French. So yeah, it's just we're helping each other. It's going well. Shading is hard most of the time. Yeah, yeah, I would say so. I did a whole thing for Inktober. I did Poketober, so I had to do all the shading with the line art, and I hadn't done that in a while, so it was a learning experience again. Found out I like drawing water, so that's scary, because I'm gonna have to do it again. But like, it's not much of a plot twist. I like water. I'm from the Maritimes. I think I want to give him like a little bit of light here, and maybe in the eye. In the eye. Oh no. Maybe a glint in the teeth or something. Hello again, everyone. Hello. This is me. Man, sometimes I just open my mouth and I don't know what I'm gonna say. Man, multilingual stream, that's where it's at. Je suis en train de dessiner. Oh, shoot. His ears are fluffy. I don't draw them fluffy enough in the comic. You're so talented, I could never. No, you could. That's the thing with art. There's no such thing as talent. It's just practice and learning how to do it. I believe there are advantages, like if you're visual, if you're a visual learner, maybe like you'll learn it quicker, or if you're right-handed, you got a slight advantage over left-handed people because you got art materials that are mostly catered to you. And of course, having family that supports your art career from a young age, that helps a lot too. But like in terms of learning how to do art, anyone can do that. No such thing as talent. Predisposition sometimes only. Honestly, Magiform itself has made me grow artistically a lot. Like that and other things. I've been using it as a tool to learn how to draw digitally. It's the same thing I do with some of my Patreon stuff because I have to do something for Patreon once a month, so I gotta get better. It's just practice. And the second you know there's a problem is the second you're starting to work on it. I actually have a story that I like to tell about that. When I was in college, this one teacher was doing a portfolio review. It was for anatomy class, and so he hands me back my portfolio, and he gives me advice and stuff. And on it, there's a post-it note that said, "Line quality is harsh and unappealing." Uh, and I remember hearing that, and I had to go, okay, I have to figure out my line quality. And that was like the last class of the semester. So that whole summer, I was trying to figure out what he meant. How do I line quality? And I was just trying so hard, and I could not figure out. And like, I also want to say that like this was not that unusual for that teacher. He was nice, but he was also like very blunt about his advice. Like it was hard to get a compliment from him. And so I work all summer, and I'm just not getting anywhere with it. So I'm like, "Oh man." And so next semester we happen to also have another class with him, and it's not anatomy, but it's something like kind of in the same vein where we're looking at reference and we're drawing it on newsprint on an easel. And first exercise, first day back in that class, I'm just drawing, and he's walking behind us to check on our work, and he's like, "Oh, your line work's decent." And I go, "What?" Like out loud in the class. So, even if you don't think you're improving, you are. I still have that post-it note somewhere because, like, it's one of those life lessons. I know a couple languages. I know English. I know French. I know a bit of Spanish. I know Shaq. I always thought that the language of animals is universal. Lolo and your cat could speak no matter where they come from. I think they did studies on that where like cats might have slight accents, but I think the focus of that study was goats. So it does really depend on the animal, but just different behaviors depending on the region. It's interesting to think about. But yes, in general, in fiction, animals tend to speak the same language. They're just kind of like Pokemon. Just gonna give him a couple lines here and there. This is not the only layer of shading that I'll be doing for him. Okay, definitely think there's some kind of lag on my on my phone. Okay, never mind. Yeah, I really like hearing fun facts about animals because nature is just really weird. When you're world building and making up animals, just remember there's no way you can come up with something that is weirder than an armadillo. Armadillos are so weird. Like there's a species that can curl up in a ball. We all know that. They got huge claws. There's one that's super small called the pink fairy armadillo, and it looks like what it is. It looks how it sounds. It's tiny and it's pink. Some of them carry leprosy from birth because they just carry it when they're born, I guess. Like, luckily, no. I mean, we're able to handle leprosy now because most strains aren't really lethal, and we got medicine for it now. But still, that is weird. Now y'all know that my hobby is at like 2 a.m. I will look up animal facts. I hope everyone could tell that by the everything about me. Armadillos are very cute though. Also, their shells can withstand bullets, so there's that. Nature's amazing. I like watching those documentaries on Netflix sometimes, like the 72 most dangerous animals in this region. It's it's fun background noise. Sometimes I'll put it in Spanish so I can learn a couple words. And you learn fun facts. Gonna let him have like little more detailed eyes in this one as a treat. Okay, so that's one layer of shading. I think another one should do it. Because I'm also gonna have these things glow. Alright, time to do this again. My voice is so soothing, thank you! I actually got told that in a store once. It was weird. Okay, time to do this again. Big brush. We don't care about details. We don't care about details and we don't talk about Bruno. Honestly, I was really happy with Encanto. That like it had been a while since I'd seen a Disney movie that I liked this much. That and Turning Red. I know Turning Red is Pixar, but that was really good too. Okay, now multiply. I think I'm gonna keep that layer off the eyes for the most part. Maybe I'll loosen up this one too. Endo's eye is important. The first panel with him is just his eye. Luca, yeah, Luca was pretty good too. I had fun with Luca. I set up brush stabilizers in Clip Studio, and I'm regretting not setting them up here. I'll have to check out how to do that sometime. Last one you saw was All Dogs Go to Heaven. That's a good choice, though. They all do go to heaven, unless they get sent to hell, I guess. What was that movie? Don Bluth. Don Bluth, talk to us. One of the first movies that I saw in theaters was Barnyard, and I remember being upset that I missed the first day that the trailers always said, like, oh, it's coming out like August 8th or whatever, because I thought that was the only day they were gonna show Barnyard in theaters, and I just wanted to see Barnyard so bad. And I remember being in the daycare and being like, oh man, Barnyard. And just, I was so upset, and my parents absolutely did not want to watch this movie. So, there's this family friend we have who later became my uncle, and yeah, he actually likes those movies. So, anyone with kids are like, here, take our kids to see the movie. We do not want to, we do not want to be in the Disney room. And so I saw Barnyard with him, but it was the English dub, so I didn't understand anything that was happening. Barnyard's a weird movie, also. But I don't know, it's got a way different vibe. He's gotta have shiny teeth. I don't think he flosses, but like, I think he's got naturally good teeth. Yeah, lucky for him, didn't have to have braces. Man, Magiforms give you good teeth. Man, I know. Life lets you have adulthood without retainers. How lucky are you? Okay, I think that's pretty good. I'll just rework the ear a bit. Him ears fluffy. Yeah, chances are I'll do a little episode just to post these up. Either that or I'll just put them in front of the chapter that they're supposed to be in front of. Oh, okay, my goodness, I'm on battery saver now. Okay. Favorite anime English dub. Again, I'm not super experienced with anime. And the only ones that come to mind are funny because they're very immature. Hold on, I'm just gonna get my charger. There we go, hold on. Pokemon dub? Yeah, that's a fun dub. The Ghibli movie dubs are pretty good in general, I'd say. Oh, the Digimon dub. That one is really funny. Let's, Okay, I know I wanted to make the teeth shiny, but it's a little... Oh, okay. Just a little bit less. Yeah, there we go. That looks fine. I just remember being in high school and just hearing about Digimon, and someone uploaded like all the episodes on YouTube. So I watched the entire first series. Good times. Oh no, I zoomed out. Where's my son? Okay. I lost my boy. Just gonna duplicate this so it doesn't get like all weird with the multiply layer. And this can become red. Because there is a scene in Magiform where you can see Endo turning into his Magiform. You don't see his base form, but you do see like the little glowy things in the background, and then he shows up. Alright, let's just add some here. Look at my boy, he's red. Turning red. Panda. People have asked what Endo is. Endo wasn't really based off anything. Like, he wasn't even supposed to really be any kind of animal at first. If anything, I guess he's a cat. Honestly, I don't think even he knows what his Magiform is. I think he just picked a random animal and he was like, okay, yoink. Okay, so now we got our line art colored in. Now what I like to do is just put all the glowy white stuff in one layer, so if I want to put gradients under it, everything else is going to be affected. And in that part, it doesn't super matter if it overlaps with anything. Because, you know, it gives it a little bit more of that glowy effect. Tried so hard to draw a dinosaur and it looked like a Digimon. Well, well, I mean, there's a lot of dinosaurs in Digimon. There's Agumon. And no other examples. There's Wargreymon. And I remember being so angry at Joe because he was the one that was upset and freaking out that like him and his whole squad were stuck in the digital world, and I was like, how dare you? You have the best Digimon. How dare you not appreciate Gomamon? He's an Endo. Yes, he is. Well, technically he like the species he was at first in the old story had a name. It's called a Danshin, and I'm gonna repurpose that for something else. But like fun little Easter egg for you. It has no bearing on Magiform whatsoever. In fact, like since this is his Magiform, that's not even what he actually looks like. No worries though, he'll show up. He'll show up in all his glory. I want to... Yeah. Okay, that's a little bit of that. Well, let's add some gradients. here, I just ended up. Usually just end up winging it because I do a couple gradients, just the color and some white for the shine. Usually I do the color first. Endo actually comes from endothermic because I was in chemistry class when I named him. And it comes from like his original power, which was um, to absorb energy and use it to be evil, do crime. But now I guess it just I don't know. It kind of applies more to drops, so it's a fitting name for him since he's the one who's trying to get them to sprout. Okay, so that's for the gradients. I think it's fine if I don't add anything. Hmm. I do want to have some of those little streamer things in the background, so I'm going to add some of those. And they're going to be in front of the stars. No, that's streamer. Yeah, those streamer things are actually drop paths. So when the drops go through the in-between, that's what happens. They leave little trails. They're kind of like little airplanes in the sky. Only red for my boy. And they say you'll never need to know chemistry. That's basically what I said at the open mic at the International Baccalaureate meeting at my school. It was just like the students at our school, to be fair. But I was like, hey, so I'm going to art school next year. Why did I do this? And the answer is I learned how to look things up and to pretend to be smart. So there. Yeah, this is supposed to be ominous. I think I might even add some stuff just on his face so he blends a little bit more with that. I'm gonna put that in front of the shading. I might just make that a hue change, maybe. I like the hard mix look. How's about this? No, no difference. Just a few details here and there. Random happy smile to the drawing. Well, I won't stay there permanently, but I can... There he is. And there he was. Just gonna. Oh, oh, that. There we go. That should work better. Yeah. I'm pretty sure I have. I have it set on record stream. I should have checked before starting this, but I'm pretty sure I have it on. So I might just put it on YouTube after this. Ooh, gradients. You know, sometimes gradients are my love language. Alright, so it doesn't have to be perfect, but it is here. Yeah, this is gonna be something when it's printed. I'm just looking at all that red close to that really dark blue and purple and like, oh no. Oh no. Alright, so that's the cover for chapter 5. I'm just gonna save it in another format and then I'm gonna take a break. And after that, I will come back and we're gonna do the chapter 6 one. Okay. I'm just gonna close that so my laptop doesn't explode. But yeah, this is what we were gonna be working on next. The chapter 6 one. Let me just put my pen to charge too. Okay, there we go. See you in like 5 to 10 minutes. Probably just 5. I just need water. have no idea if it's been 5 minutes or not, but I stretched and I drank some water, so that's good enough for me. Let me get my pen back. Oh no. Okay, let's start this. Now again, we'll be starting with the formatting. Okay, I like to zoom in when I do the threshold adjustment because I want to see like what type of line art turns it turns completely black and what type doesn't. Okay. I'd like to say that this is probably the most complicated we'll get today, but the chapter 7 one is a little bit complicated. I meant to do that in black, but I like this better. It's a bit sad that Pumpkin and Vanilla didn't get a cover before Endo, but this felt more like their chapter. Because, you know, it's the flashback one. Man, I can't believe we're past that already. I would like to have this, have like some good progress made before 4 o'clock Toronto time. Because I do have something that's not like, it's not mandatory, but I would like to watch a certain stream during that. Who knows, I might just turn off the audio. Then again, I also want to go for a walk today. I like walking. Walking is just the easiest exercise for me, so it's the only one I do. I don't work out, I walk places and I don't give up. One thing that I also put on when I'm drawing is podcasts. I also do that when I'm playing piano. That way I can just listen to something while I'm doing something else. It helps fill the wait time when when it's tedious. Like, oh god, I printed out a new um, some new sheet music for piano. I printed it out maybe, I think it was on the 14th, and uh, I have not made much progress. That was almost 2 weeks ago, and it's very jazzy, and it's hard because sometimes when you look for patterns, there are none, and the sheet music is just like, oh well, I guess that's just the way it is, and you can't remember the pattern, and it's like a bunch of double notes that are super fast. But I'm getting better. I play piano better than I play a clarinet, though. I was actually first chair clarinet when I was in high school, by virtue of being the senior one there. Part of the process in art is also knowing when to take a break. And the thing about taking a break is that sometimes you're dealing with some stuff that, like, makes art not super fun. So the point of a break is to, like, rejuvenate and find that love again. And it's also like this weird relationship of sometimes you can't depend on motivation, you gotta depend on discipline. Like, you gotta lots of gray areas and decisions of how to handle things. But one thing that can help with that is hobbies. Letting yourself enjoy something. But a complicated thing also is that sometimes you just gotta really try to get some hobbies that aren't super hard on your hands. Because, like, oh man, I'm trying to recover from a long, arduous drawing session. Well, piano is not gonna be the best thing for my left hand. So, just walking around with music, that's good. 8 months with your art break, that is also valid. I don't know. It's everyone has their own pace and stuff. One thing that I never really understood is art block, because I think I just don't understand what it is. Like, is it when you don't know what to draw, so you just don't draw, or is it like? Because for me, that doesn't really happen. I don't know. Sometimes talking is too much. Sometimes writing is too much. But drawing is always like it's just kind of chill. I can do whatever. So it never really stops being fun. On a lot of days, I don't even like draw fully realized pieces or anything. Most days, I just doodle in my sketchbook, just with a mechanical pencil. That's what I do, because that's just what I've always done. Sometimes it's quantity over quality. It's what helps because it gets you in the habit. One thing I think is funny with Magiform is the art evolution. Like, I will agree that there is some difference there, especially between chapter 1 and every other chapter, since all the pages for chapter 1 were inked before they were colored, so everything that came after that was like after like I didn't ink anything what I'm saying is the gap between the last page of chapter 1 is between the last page and when chapter 2 went up, it's like pretty much as long as chapter 1, because again they were all inked. And since it's been going on for almost 3 years, I've learned a lot about digital art, and so it's fun to go down the comics sometimes and see where I've improved. But the funniest thing, what I was getting at, is the way I draw Vanilla, because the way she looks in chapter 1 is completely different than, like, first of all, the other cats in the cast, and second of all, the way I draw her in any other chapter. Like, she looks weird in chapter 1. Like, if there was one thing that I think I would touch up art-wise for a print edition, it might be Vanilla, but honestly, chapter 1 would not be chapter 1 without the jank. One thing I would do, though, is the lettering, because I did get a lot better at that, and I think it's important to make it readable. I actually am working on another project that wouldn't necessarily go up right after Magiform. I might go on a break for a little bit. But it would either be this one strip comic that I have in mind, or this kind of spooky Breakfast Club meets Paranorman thing. With the ghosts and stuff. That might be fun. A little bit of an older audience than Magiform, though, but I gotta... You know, I don't just do cute art. I can do cute and scary. Pure scary is hard, though. Vanilla looks fine on chapter 1, but I agree that she looks better. Thank you, but I think that the thing that gets me in chapter 1 is that she's already starting to lean towards how she looks in further chapters, because I was getting more comfortable drawing her that way, and then I just gave up on the way she looked on her first appearance. Yeah, I already did that. I don't know. I think she just looks really funny in the early installments, especially when like she becomes this like soft little pentagon face. Pumpkin kind of stayed mostly the same. I think it's just some of the proportions got changed during that. Another thing is that in the early chapters, the cats will have like lines in their ears to, you know, because it's the ear border. But in the later chapters, they just don't, because I stopped drawing them. Okay, so we have our line art. Thing is with comics in general, but especially webcomics, is because usually with webcomics you're doing it on your own, is you will always hate the first page. Because, you know, it takes a long time to do a webcomic because you're doing everything. So of course you're gonna improve throughout. So no matter how good you make the first page, you will not like it. You are your own worst critic. just set that to multiply. And I'm going to set this to RGB before I forget. No, it's CMYK. I'm gonna put that as CMYK. Alright, so chapter 6. I think I want to go with a bluer one for this.